Welcome to Williford Spring. Not very often you can take a paddleboard into this swimming area. Usually it's full of people, but in December you can catch it all to yourself. Williford is a second magnitude spring. The pool depth over the main vent measures roughly 8 to 10 feet deep. This spring has a substantial water flow, so it makes it a little difficult to swim against the current and get a good look at the spring. I've heard stories there's a room that you can swim to in there, but I wouldn't recommend it without proper cave diving equipment and training, especially a helmet. After a quick dip at the spring, it was time to pull the paddleboard out and take a walk down a long boardwalk. Williford has a very nice boardwalk that connects all the way to Econfina Creek, prevents paddlers from damaging the spring run. So after a long walk down the boardwalk that flanks the spring run, you arrive at a dock. This is where you're supposed to launch kayaks and paddleboards or leave them and walk down the boardwalk back to the spring. The spring run splits here. There's one shortcut to the creek and a longer spring run that goes further down the creek. After a brief paddle down the southern spring run, you arrive at a second spring run that comes from a different spring. As you can see, this is pretty choked with debris, most likely from Hurricane Michael. Not too many people go back in there. We're going to go explore it on another video, so make sure to check that out later. So this is where the spring run meets Econfina Creek. On this day, I didn't have a whole lot of time before I had to go get the kid from school, so I decided just to paddle up the creek past Strickland Spring and come back. And that's the second way into Williford. So on my way back, I saw this little feeder creek and decided to check it out and see if it was spring fed or not. So after some maneuvering, I decided this was not a spring fed creek and it was time to head back. Unfortunately, I got into a little bit of trouble coming out of that little creek and turned sideways and started catching my fin in some debris. Snapped it off. Of course, I didn't realize that I'd lost my fin until I started making my way back down the creek. So then I had to turn around and head back and look for my fin. There's the fin. Unfortunately, it snapped clean off and a piece of it was still in the fin box. But no damage to the fin box, so that's good. Often we see a prominent boil at this section of the creek. It could be from the current just rolling back up on an eddy, or it could actually be a spring down there. Lots of karst geology along this creek. After a nice winter paddle, I arrived back at the dock. Time to go get the kid from school. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We have many more videos coming soon exploring real Florida.